Why don't I like headlocks? The reason I don't like headlocks is they're not chokes, so we're not gonna put them to sleep. The reason I don't like headlocks is if I headlock someone as opposed to underhooking their arm, if they get on their side, they can come out and take my back. It's another reason I don't like them. The third reason that I don't like headlocks is that I always tell folks, particularly new folks, you gotta keep your elbows in tight to your body. Really tough to attack my arms when my elbow is here. If I headlock someone, where's my elbow? It's away from my body. Now this works if you're on top and smashing someone the way Elias will start this video with me, but once we roll him, and a lot of the headlock escapes we're gonna go over in jiu-jitsu will land us into a position where I'm on top, based out, and he still has control of my head. Now, someone that does jiu-jitsu is gonna let go of the head, start trying to recover the guard. But a lot of other folks are still gonna think, hey, I have this head. I'm still gonna start squeezing on it. And that's gonna be really uncomfortable for you. Fortunately, you can take advantage of this next technique in order to armbar them in a safe and effective way while staying on top. So let's start from the escape itself. There's a full video on this in the playlist too. So Elias has my head. If he could just crank on it. So I'm just gonna make a frame and support that frame. I'm gonna get on my side, move my hips away. I'm either chopping with my leg or grabbing with my leg. I come to the top, post my, let's rotate the camera this way, and you see toward the camera. So you see what I mean? Elias's elbows away from his body. And one or two that now most people that do jiu-jitsu are just gonna let go and try to turn into you. But folks that don't do jiu-jitsu are gonna continue to try to crank on your neck. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna step over and pull our heel in tight to his hip. Our knee is gonna come as close to the top of his head as we can get it. I like to think of it as parallel to the top of his ear. And now remember, he's probably gonna be trying to squeeze your head off. So we're gonna make a frame. Come inside if you can. This is okay, this is better, and support that frame. So here's where it's counterintuitive. You think I'm just gonna like mush Elias down and lift my spine up, but I'm gonna do that. And Elias, try and keep control of the headlock. Might get there eventually. It just depends on whether he gets tired before I get tired. But I never want to rely on that sort of thing. I want to rely on leverage. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pinch my chin to my shoulder, and now I'm just gonna move my body to 11 o'clock on this side, or if I were on the other side, I would move to 1 o'clock. Elias, do you feel like you could keep control of that at all?
Not in the slightest.
Yeah, it's much, much different. And so if you do this, right, our posture is controlled, which is why it's like tough for us, really hard, right? Especially if the person is bigger and stronger than you. And we always want to assume the person is bigger and stronger than we are. So don't try to go straight up, you're just gonna hurt your neck. So shoulder connects to the chin. We build the frame and support the frame. We're not pushing into his neck, we're just holding it in place. And it should open like a can of soda. Now that we've opened it, this hand's gonna come to the mat, and this hand is gonna catch the arm. Now you can either come to your shoulder, come to the wrist, grab your own gi, doesn't really matter, however you control the arm. There's a variety of ways to do that. What is important is that I don't just step over his head, but that I lean at a 45-degree angle. Elias, you feel the weight on you.
I do feel the weight.
Right. So I'll explain why that's important in a second. Because in order, I want him to not be able to move, right? So I lean at a 45-degree angle, making sure he can't move. That also makes my leg up top light, which allows me to swing my leg over. Now, we have a bunch of armbar finishing details in other videos, so I'm just gonna give you the basics here. I'm gonna pinch my knees together, pinch my heels tight to my butt, come 2 hands to the wrist, and very gently try to put my back on the mat. And as you can see, there's a lot more that I could do to finish that arm lock if Elias were being stubborn. So let's just go straight from the arm lock position. So I want to go over that. So just lay on your side, grab my head. So we've just gotten to the arm lock position, right? I'm gonna have us move back just so we can stay in frame. So the first thing I'm gonna do, step over. Heel comes in tight to his hip. Build the frame, support the frame. Pinch the shoulder to the chin. This part is the trickiest part to get it first, but once you get it one time, you'll never not get it again. And go to either 11 o'clock or 1 o'clock, depending on where you are. This hand comes to the mat, the other hand grabs. So let me show you the mistake everybody makes. The mistake everybody makes is they step over, and you see how high my hips are. Now, if Elias can just pull his elbow, right? I'm still on top, so it's not the end of the world, We want to finish the situation. So instead of stepping over, which creates all this space between my hips and him, I'm gonna lean. So all my weight's on his hips now, he's not going anywhere. And that makes my leg light, so that if I'm not flexible, I can just walk it around. If you can't swing it around. One more time, pinch the knees together, 2 hands on the wrist, making sure his thumb is pointing up. And I just gently try to put my back on the mat. I'm gonna let go of Elias's arm so I don't hurt him. Just gonna show you, I have a long way to go. Put my back on the mat. If my back gets to the mat, I'm just gonna lift my hips, all of which is gonna make his arm have a very, very bad day. We call that the self-defense armbar, and commonly we get to it from headlock positions. A lot of the standing headlock defenses, or that headlock from the ground defense, are gonna end us in that position. So we always wanna make sure that if our opponent has our head, we make them pay for it, and that's one of my favorite ways to do it.